Hey everybody, it's Lance here at the Nostalgia Nuts podcast, and we have two guests with us. We are actually recording in Pixel Vault in Pittsfield, and I have both Nate and Tyler here, the guys that own Pixel Vault. So thank you guys for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been open for a couple months now, quite a few months, right?
Three, yeah. Just
Yeah, and you guys definitely need to take a look at this shop if you guys are local in Berkeley County or just in the general area. I'll probably take some pictures and post it in the Facebook page and all the other social media. But as always, guys, if you guys want to check out the podcast, check us out on Facebook at the Nostalgia Nuts Podcast. We are on X. I hate using that term. I'd rather just use the term Twitter at Nostalgia. Yes. Yeah, fuck you, Elon. Not Nostalgia Nuts 90, because the Nostalgia Nuts podcast was taken, but that's okay. We actually just started up a YouTube, the Nostalgia Nuts podcast. You can get all of our previous episodes on there, and then of course, you can listen to all the podcast episodes on Podbean, Spotify. I believe we're on Apple, all that good stuff. But yeah, there's going to be some new stuff coming in the future, things that I've been working on and that Chris have been working on, and that way we can maximize our exposure to everybody that listens to the podcast. So thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Again, if you guys have any ideas, feel free to email nostalgia nuts podcast at gmail.com. So guys, I wanted to have you guys on the podcast to talk about video games, particularly retro gaming, because we're based off on nostalgia. So I wanted to talk to you guys about your experience like with gaming. So Nate, we'll start off with you. Uh, what would you say was your first exposure to gaming? Like, what was the first console that like you became in contact with growing up?
the first console that I remember was the PlayStation 1. Uh, and the core memory that I have from that is sitting in the living room, my dad on the floor, and me sitting on his like back, with the controller, trying to beat the Metal Gear Solid level with the rocket. Was the Nikita rocket,
Yeah.
and trying to steer that. So pass the controller back and forth to my dad, who's laying on the floor, and me sitting on his back, which I later found out he had me sit on his back because he had back pains, and I always was like a real I moved around a lot, so he's sitting beside me into this, um, and just such a good memory, of that first game that I've really stuck with. Um, but N64, going to friends' house, playing 007, GoldenEye,
Oh yeah.
um, Neo Geo. I had a really wealthy friend who wanted to let me borrow his Neo Geo, and playing.
Was it King of Fighters or any of those?
One that I loved so much.
Oh, okay.
Where you're like a mech baseball player.
Oh, okay.
I'm forgetting the name of this. Yeah, I showed you this. It's just such a good game.
Mm.
It's being blown away by the graphics of that thing.
Yeah, those Neo Geo cartridges were almost as big as like a regular console. Yeah.
I just said under my bed. It was like, man, I had like 3 games in the bar, and it took all of under my bed. I would pull it out and plug it into the little 13-inch TV, and I had my VCR attached to it, where I had one VHS, which was Wayne's World. Watched it every single night.
Well, I love Wayne's World. Me and my family love it, and multiple of my friends do. Yeah, yeah. So, how about you, Tyler? Like, what console would you say was like really influential in you being a gamer?
Well, my first one that I can remember having was, and I don't think I ever got it for like a gift or anything. I think it was just like a hand-me-down I got from my uncle Ronnie that he gave to my mom. Um, I was the only child, so they were like, "Here you go." I think that all the guys kids get a PlayStation. Here's the old Super Nintendo. And so I just played Killer Instinct. That's like a 4-year-old lad, and until I got a PS1 or PS1.
Nice.
And yeah, I just probably PS2 growing up, PS1 and PS2 or what I played the most of. I never had an N64, many Nintendo consoles. The only Nintendo console I ever got really was a Wii that I had to kind of save up for myself when it came out. Traded a huge stack of games to GameStop to get it. Um, but yeah, I would say probably PS1, PS2. Spent a lot of time playing those growing up.
Right.
But yeah,
It's funny that your experience is actually using an older console than mine.
yeah,
I think I was just thinking about after you said it, I was like, that's probably because like at that point I was like, oh, this is trash.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in different way. You know, like yeah, let's see, 3, no, 5.
yeah,
Yeah, I was 5 years old when the NES came out. You know,
yeah.
I'm not quite old enough to be like, I don't really like my, like that wasn't my first console.
Yeah,
You know, we eventually got one.
right.
You know, um, wanted it, but it's like PS1 was like my family was finally we go form one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that guy's upset.
Yeah.
It's for him. Yeah. It's like you're like Billy, you're playing it interesting or I was. It's just like, oh, this is so old technology.
Yeah, I totally get that.
I didn't get a PS1 until like my 5th birthday. But, I remember being so excited for it. I don't think I even like, really like knew what it was. I know I just wanted this one game that was like Hercules, Disney Hercules that my cousin had on the computer and I really wanted it. And my mom got me a game that was Hercules, but it wasn't the Hercules. It was Burke's Adventures.
Yes, so good.
I love that game, but that was my first experience with the PS1.
Such a cool and funny game. So,
Yeah.
Billy, if you're listening, and Tyler and I talked about that a little earlier, I'm like, you need to talk about that in this episode because I know that you and Brittany would pop for that one.
We'll go back to that.
Yeah, it's such a fun game. I say gaming was more influential for me because I'm like right in the middle of you guys. But like honestly, for me, my first exposure to gaming was the NES. You know, it's like my dad brought us up on gaming, and I had an NES, and I had quite a few games for it. Some were harder than others, of course. I don't know if you guys played a lot of NES, but we were big Home Alone fans in my family. And the first Home Alone game for NES is a pain in my ass. Like you have to go around the house, set traps for the wet bandits, and you got to do that for 20 minutes straight. And like there are times when after they hit a couple of the traps, you have to pick them up and reset them again. And this is before save states, no passwords, anything like that, you know. So it can be very stressful. And my buddy Matt, if he listens, he'll know exactly what I'm talking about because I remember one time I brought up NES Home Alone and he goes, man, screw that game. But you know, as I got older, you know, taste kind of changed. Like Genesis. My dad owned a Super Nintendo. We got a Genesis. And then you know, PlayStation 2, and then after PlayStation 2, I just kind of been strictly Xbox. But you know, I end up buying an N64 like later on down the line, and like you know, I try to engage in other, you know, kind of different things. So, um,
It's funny. The more we talk about things, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
Like my cousin Gary was a basement. Like he was like a cool cousin. He had like this basement. I remember it's like going down there. He had his Genesis. It's like
yeah.
he had the bad games. You know what I mean? Like you're just like oh it's all and stuff.
Weird stuff.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
what was it?
What in this? Yeah.
Yes.
it's like that classic slogan that Sega used to use against Nintendo. Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah.
Do you,
What they should do is come back. Nintendo does what PlayStation will or something. Yeah.
I kind of remember, I think, oh man, I remember a couple years ago for like an anniversary or something, they ended up bringing back the song from the classic Genesis Does commercial,
Huh?
but it was like I think it was for a collection of games that they were releasing on the Switch
Oh,
or something like that. I'll
yeah.
have to include it in the podcast, but I remember they did a remake of that classic work.
Mm.
You know what it was for? It was for the Genesis Classic, the
Oh, the
mini,
mini.
and I got that
Yeah.
at home. I haven't played it in a while, but yeah, it's
And the one that
definitely.
has the cartridge reader.
No, it's a very small one.
Yeah.
It's when they did the mini console kind of thing, when that was a thing years ago. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you guys have any memorable, do you guys like have any memorable, uh, experiences? Like you were bringing up, the birthday, or do you guys have any memorable, video game experiences for like gifts for like birthdays or like Christmas, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Like I said, I mean, my fifth birthday, I got the PS1, the original one, PlayStation one, not the PS1,
Mhm.
and Herc's Adventures, and I remember playing that and being kind of bummed out that it wasn't Disney's Hercules like I wanted. But then realizing it was a two-player game, and my cousin could play it with me, and every time I called, get a little more farther, and it's one of those just like great LucasArts games, but I can remember off the top of my head is Christmas. I must have been in like fifth grade. I really wanted a PS2, and my mom, you know how parents will tell you, well, I couldn't afford it this year, I couldn't get it, sorry, and they kind of put your hopes down a little bit, and I really wanted Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and I was just like 10, 11. Didn't think my mom would get it for me. I remember opening that on Christmas Day and just being like blown away. Didn't even have a memory card, so that opening sequence of the game is just like burned into my memory forever. Of like whatever, but
Is
it's great, yeah.
and did she pull the, oh, where'd this gift come from?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Check it out from the tree.
Yeah, I love parents do that. It's like the last one.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So I mean, I can. My story is different. I was like growing up, like as a kid. I was not into video games. I all I did was sports. I just ran around. I played sports. It wasn't until I was older, until I was like 14, that I, 12, 12, is when I actually started like being like, oh, video games.
Mm.
mhm.
I was more PC based because I was like I started homeschooling and the computer was like my class and everything like that. And I remember for I can't remember which birthday it was, but my dad had got us a new like gaming computer. Uh, and it's like we went through all the presents, we did this and that, and he wrapped one. There's one more present left, and we opened it, and it was a 56K modem. And I was like, "Holy crap, Dad! You guys have 56K modem on the internet?" You know? And and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, let's go set it up." And so like we go, we rush to the computer and set it up, and it's not just a 56K modem. It's a brand new computer. Like you set it up, it's ready to go. It was just like it was the best.
That's
It was the
amazing.
best because it was like you really got into the 56.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then like after that, we would my friend and I constantly play. Not, I mean, this was years later, I should say. Uh, just your memories that are pouring out. Um, where we would play. He would play on the computer. My dad got. I eventually got my own computer because I was like really into computers and video gaming and stuff like that. So that my parents got me. Um, and we would play this game, Delta Force. It's one of the very first like first person shooter kind of games, well, online. And I had a subwoofer that I got as a present. I bought it. I may have been working at that. I may have been like 15. And I remember playing this game online and just lagged back then. It was terrible. My friend wasn't very good at it, and I was like really good at the game. It was this sniper position, you can go and snipe. And I remember being like, you go click, and I would hear it downstairs. Just it's like laugh and a subwoofer noise. And before it reached him upstairs, like the depth, he could hear that going off, and he was like, the time he was like, I hate you. He was like, I heard that boom, and then like a split second later, I would die. He was like, "There's nothing." I but that was a good like game. I think King's Quest on that original computer,
Oh, that's cool.
and like Warhammer.
Yeah.
That fraud like programming gaming in. Yeah.
Number munchers, right?
No, it was like no, it was a term. Sorry,
Oh, okay.
early programmed to like move around the screen.
Oh, cool.
And that's what got me into like gaming and computers.
Yeah, I love Oregon Trail. Like, I mean, I even got it on the Switch now. Like, I'm looking at the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gaming Historian did a really good episode on making Oregon Trail. If you guys haven't seen that, where we watched his stuff. He just retired recently from doing his videos. Yeah, he does a really good episode on Oregon Trail. But yeah, I always liked those computer games in school, like Oregon Trail, and then there was this other one I really liked called Predator Mass Storm, which was always cool.
Yes.
Yeah, you remember that game? Yeah. Like my buddy Cody and I used to talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Yep. And all the snowballs and everything. Yep.
When they throw it out the window or something.
Yeah, yes. Such a cute game.
That version of Oregon Trail that came on those IMAX was the best.
Right.
And I gotta find it because
It's still moving locally instead.
Yeah, exactly.
the versions of Oregon.
Yeah, nowadays a lot of people are making the jokes about, the lettuce and everything of like you have died of lettuce diarrhea or dysentery or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think probably the most memorable, and there are two different there are a couple different memorable gifts like I remember as a gamer. So the Christmas that I got my Genesis was a big deal for me. It came with Sonic 2, which was pretty awesome. And then one year, my parents got me a whole bunch of Genesis games that were cheap because this is around the time I was still playing Genesis when PlayStation first started. I didn't buy my first PlayStation until 2000. I bought the PS1, the tiny one. Um, but we had Genesis games for a long time, and there was one year where when Genesis no longer did the clamshells for the games, they did the cardboard cases. And I remember I got Jungle Book, I got Real Monsters, and those were really cool for like Christmas that year. And then there was this one other memorable one. Now, I do not like this game whatsoever. It's just memorable for me. I think, what the funny thing is? I think Chris might have gotten it for me for my birthday. We had a birthday party at Ken's Ball back when it was still open, when I was a kid. And um, I'm pretty sure Chris got it for me or somebody got it for me. They got Last Action Hero on Genesis, and I like the movie. Love the movie. The game is terrible. It's god awful. The guy in it does not even look like. Yeah,
like
the guy doesn't even look like. There's this. I don't know if you guys checked out SNES Drunk on YouTube, but I always remember he did a review Last Action Hero and said that the character you play does not look like Arnold. It looks like Shane McMahon. It's just and so like that's always been just a memorable thing for me. Like just getting that game on a birthday party from one of my friends.
Yeah.
Because not often like my friends would give me videos. So it was like this. Um going this is definitely one question I wanted to ask you guys. Um what would you say do you guys have any memories of like the first game you ever beat?
yeah, mine goes right along with that first memory, that core unlocking memory.
Yeah,
It was the original Valentine.
yeah.
Because we spent so much time on that final level where you can't hear this Nikita missile, which is like impossible.
Yeah.
To beat it. And that was like, it was huge because I have ADHD, right? And so I have a hard time finishing games.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like it's like no matter like I'm like right now I'm playing 007.
Same.
And it's like, I go and play it for an hour and then I'm like, oh
Oh yeah.
what's this? shiny thing over here, whatever it may be. And like I'm like determined, I'm like I'm going to beat this game, and then I'm going to beat the other one I got, which is Pragmata for both for PS5 right now. But I'm like, and then I think secondary would be for beating a game would be Fable
Mm.
1 and Fable 2, and then not beating Fable 3 because it's trash.
Yeah.
But those are, and that was like a memory of a girl's first thing, like, and a girlfriend, like a real girlfriend, and she just sat and watched me play and like, cheer me up, like, you know what I mean? I think that's the only reason I ever. Yeah, it was like, oh, fuck, I killed an audience, like,
That. What about
yeah.
what about you, Tyler?
Um, I can't really recall. Maybe like probably like something like Tony Hawk. One of those games. Probably thought about that in a while because like I just don't finish games that often. And they don't even have to be like a game I really like. But I don't know for whatever reason. Yeah, I get distracted easily, just like Nate, and I don't know, but if I've definitely beat some games over there. My wife gives me a hard time on that all the time. Oh, you got this game? Well, you didn't beat this one or the six before that.
It's about beating it, it's about having it.
Yes, exactly.
I haven't. I mean, it's the first hour and a half game training I'm done with it. It's all my yes.
I don't think I ever even beat any GTAs as a kid.
Hmm.
I would just do cheat codes, and if a friend had gotten farther than me, they would bring their memory card over and copy it onto mine, and just play their save.
So you're a cheat.
Yeah.
Me too, man. I didn't want to cheat in video games.
Yeah,
The next thing to do.
I'm totally fine with that too. So the first game that I vividly remember ever beating, and I didn't have to use like any cheese or anything, was so there's this really fun game I had for NES that came out later on during the lifespan of the NES. It's funny because I'm looking at the fact that you guys on my water. And Yoshi's Cookie is right there, and I'm pretty sure that that's like one of the last games that came out for the NES, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it is like one of the last ones. It's something to do with Yoshi. Um, because they stopped making NES games in '94. And my big memory of the first game that I ever beaten on NES was they made a Felix the Cat game for the NES, and a big favorite of mine. I used to play it all the time. I used to do it periodically. And it's side scroller, really cool like game. And I remember like when I beat it, I just remember standing up and like it dropped my controller because I was in shock that I like beat this game. And like this back when I was a kid, no cheats, I didn't even know. I don't even think I knew what the Contra code was back then, what the Konami code was
Yeah.
back then. And I remember just getting so excited. I'm like, hell yes, like I beat it. And it's like there are different memories that you have of like beating games, even with cheats. Like, it's just like if it's a game that you have not been able to beat and then you finally beat it, it's like so cool. Like, whenever I've been able to beat, like, um, the original Resident Evil games, the Silent Hill games, that's always been a big thing for me too, because some games can be a pain in the ass to beat.
Yeah.
And that like goes like into like how much I like emulation nowadays, because there are games that I would not have been able to beat without save states.
Right.
Like some games you need save states. Like
Yeah.
Because how can you dedicate 5 hours straight to the game,
yeah.
to even just play it through
Mm-hmm.
without saving, like, I can't remember who we were talking about, but laughing about, the reason PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1, certain games like would ruin your consoles because you couldn't save
Mm-hmm.
them on it. Like, yes, you could save, you weren't at a checkpoint or you weren't at there was no instant like, oh, let's just save. it's like you had to go and talk to the shopkeeper and be like,
Yeah.
Kings or not, Dragon Quest. Like, you would go and talk to whoever like saved the game. So you leave the things not that later just be on for like 24 hours. It's like, you had to do school and
Yeah, exactly.
back then. Now we get these PlayStation 2 students. They're like, yeah, it works. And like a day later, it's dead. And you're like, it's like you probably didn't have any sort of memory card or whatever it might be.
Yeah. I was always somebody that like if it was the Sega, like if it was the Genesis or the NES, and like I did turn it on sometimes, but like with PlayStation and PlayStation 2, like that's not something I would do. I would just try to, use the save and everything like that. And what was always just, better, there are some games that I think thankfully that Nintendo used battery save.
Yeah.
There are certain games that are notorious for not having battery save on like the old consoles, like if you guys ever played Jurassic Park on Genesis or Super Nintendo, no battery save. And it's like, oh my God,
That game's
so good. But you gotta use save states for it. Another game that absolutely came in clutch with save states, or Game Genie in general, Batman for NES.
yeah.
That game is notoriously hard. Um, but always a favorite of mine. But there are like other games, that I needed save states for Home Alone. Like when I got old enough, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play Home Alone on the emulator and I'm gonna beat it. And back in the day, even with like the older consoles, even if they had crappy endings, it was still worth it.
Mm.
You know, it's like I'm not in a competition. Let me beat the game.
Yeah.
You know, so that's always been like a big.
I think it's off topic a little bit. Interesting what you were saying about like how certain games are more hard, right? They're difficult games, and they weren't difficult on purpose, though. You know what I mean? Like I think most of those games weren't difficult on purpose. I think that there just wasn't the same. Like now, when people make a game, they're like, "Let's make it difficult," and you have difficult settings. You choose the changes, like
Yeah,
the atmosphere of the game. I think back then they just made the game, and nobody at whatever tiny studio was making it thought to go, is this game really hard?
Yeah.
It'd be totally cool that because we wrote it and then playing it and being like, I know how to do this. Before there was like, game tests. You know what I mean? Like game tests. They would put this out and they'd be like, this can rot. And then you get it in your hands and you'd be like, it's unplayable. Like I can't. There's no way I can defeat this game
yeah,
because I don't know the thing that you develop, the developer, and the team that built it.
yeah. I definitely prefer adaptive difficulty that like things get more difficult as you progress. Um, a term that I heard a lot like nowadays from like when we were younger is the term rental difficulty. Like games that are like difficult
Yeah.
in order to get you to like re-rent them again, and there are different like situations like with Nintendo, the OG, the original Super Mario 2, they didn't release in America because they thought it was too difficult and they didn't want to like upset the players, so that's why they ended up, taking the Doki Doki Panic engine and using it for Mario 2, and then they ended up releasing the original Mario 2 as part of Super Mario All Stars and just called it the Lost Levels because it's literally just the original Mario, just was a little bit more difficult.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I always would get frustrated with things like that, and then I was always happier like down the line where I got to use emulators and like finally get to a certain place with like games.
To experience it for yourself. Be like, yeah, I may watch a YouTube thing on this, but I'm seeing it for myself the first time.
Yeah,
Me getting to this part because it's new. You've never been there.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
haven't been in that level. You never made that cutscene. You
yeah,
never, and it's just cool you can do that.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Would do you guys have like certain games or like a specific game that you would say is like probably your favorite of all time?
Mm. Favorite of all time. So there's different categories.
Yeah.
That's true.
For like what my favorite of all time would be. Right? Like I probably had the most fun ever was Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dance Dance Revolution. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because we would have these awesome parties where just me and friends and girls, they'd come over and they were like, I've got Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
You play Dance Dance Revolution, this girl, they'd be coming up down. And so, like, that was like, oh,
Yeah.
like, that's a memory that, like, Guitar Hero got me laid. Like, being really good at it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Hey, man, I'm right.
in that category, Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, I would always sing if we were playing rock band
Yeah.
at parties. I remember one time, you know, around the time Rock Band 2 were out, um, we had a party at my parents' house. They were out of town and they let us do a party and everything. And uh, there were like a whole bunch of us playing Rock Band in the living room. And I guess the cops got called primarily because I had friends that did poi. I don't know if you guys know what poi is.
Is that like chanting?
No, no, no. Poi is like kind of like ropes on wands that have like balls in it, and they were doing
Yeah.
fire poi
Oh, okay.
in the front yard, and like the cops were like, "Hey, the neighbors just if you guys want to do the things with that fire, do it in the back." And I remember one of the officers were like, "They're playing rock band." The cops like just pulled in the living room for like 5 minutes watching us go, and they're like, "Oh my God, we got to get this game." And I just remember like it was so cool. Like I was singing oh my God, Everlong by Foo Fighters, or we were
Right.
doing Come Down by Bush, and yeah, and it's like always like doing the singing part, or doing the guitar and everything like that.
Those games, like, there's just nothing like that. I feel bad for the younger generations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They just won't have that experience. Like, even with, like, like Beat Saber for like,
Yeah.
VR, like
yeah,
Clone Hero now,
Right.
and it's still in person. You're not,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you play Guitar Hero online,
yeah,
at least for a long time.
mhm,
You had to, like, hey, do you guys want to come to my house?
Right.
Like, humans are social man.
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like ever
Technology these
since,
days has made
yeah,
us more,
Right.
I,
sinking, which is sad.
I feel like post-pandemic, like the whole idea of couch co-op like died,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. I feel like it was already kind like it, to think back, right? Like Guitar Hero came out at a time where like yeah, there was online gaming, but couch co-op was still like very prevalent, but it was starting to like sort of like dwindle down a
Mhm.
little bit. And I feel like Guitar Hero really brought that magic back together of like come to my house and let's play this game
Mhm.
as a unit, like as a
Yeah,
friend group. Like, so
yeah, and it's
I
like
feel like it's something like that
it's like
these days.
things like that in like Mario Party or
Yeah,
Smash or Mario Kart,
right.
things like that was always just so fun to play around like your
Smash. Shameless plug.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Smash Bros. Tournament July
Right.
24th. It's
there you
Friday.
go.
So sign up.
Yeah,
Everything relevant wasn't prepared.
no, you're fine. I'm pointing on Facebook and everything for you guys. So yeah, we'll definitely end up putting that up just because with like plugging the events that you guys got going on and everything like that. Um, Yeah, I miss stuff like that, like being in person to do it. Like, even with like GoldenEye and everything like that. I don't know if you had the asshole friend that wanted to play his odd job, but I didn't, thankfully. Because we made it a point, but like, well, playing his fucking odd job.
Yeah.
And it's like, we would do the slappers only sometimes to just mess with people.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do in GoldenEye, if we had a multiplayer in the bunker, the second level, right? I would always be that person that would load that bathroom stall with uh um what is it? It was
Proximity
either
mine.
proximity mines or remote mines. And God help you if you respond after dying and you have like half fun going down to the woods, last and rest. Well, embarrassing the days when you could see it, and with any of my friends, they would respawn in that, and I would just start dying. Oh, bitch, I'm like,
Hi. Like you were just like being like, "Are you looking at my screen?" Man, listen, look.
start looking inside the screen. Yeah. I think like there's magic to like that, and then also like for computers, the LAN party. That was always a favorite. A couple of my friends and I used to get together every now and then, bring screens or miniature TVs with our Xbox 360s
Right.
and play wrestling online together.
That's
There's a magic to doing that in groups.
right.
You know, the LAN party, things like that sort is cool. And like that's an art that's like I feel like has like dwindled in the past couple of years, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um
There used to be a place called the Cyber Cafe here in this spot.
mhm,
Um, just on but the outside of our store here was a cyber cafe, and that was like I lived there.
mhm.
It was a LAN gaming place.
That's so sick.
Siberian cafe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and we would go, me and my friends, and we would pay the $15 for 3 hours or whatever. And we would get to play like not only play together, but it's like there was like 15 games. You could have like I couldn't afford 15
Yeah.
newest games and so we would go and we played like on the and you know Call of Duty and all these kind of online multiplayer, Halo, all these games.
Yeah.
You do it all.
Mhm.
It's just like it was so great. Just an afternoon of that, being with your friends and the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would drop us off there and then go just go to the store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen. I think that doesn't happen because as a society, as humans, as a whole, we always try to make everything easier first.
Yeah, like convenience, but it just seems like, with the, what convenience brings apart, like I feel like dwindling slowful,
Absolutely.
interaction, which is unfortunate.
It's easier to just randomly get online and play with strangers.
Yeah.
A game than it is to call with friends.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sleep back calling with friends.
And then nowadays, a lot of people don't even like to be phone on the phone, like just text me.
Yeah.
Don't leave a voicemail. That kind of
I'm the
thing.
opposite.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't want to text. Please phone.
yeah, I like to talk in person, and it's like you take a look at like one thing I always think about with how social interaction is and with how like online gaming and stuff like has been so different is I think a lot about the cable guy. And that scene where, like Jim Carrey saw Matthew Broderick, like you can do your home shopping from home where you can play Mortal Kombat with a friend in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And it's like that movie was so ahead of its time, and literally like this summer, I'm pretty sure, yeah, 96. Yeah, this summer is like the 30-year anniversary of the cable guy, and it's like it didn't.
Is it really the
Yeah,
news
96.
that came out?
And it's like you can take a look at that. It's such a big commentary. Such a big commentary. I was 9. Yeah, in 96, because I was born in 86. But
Lily.
yeah, but yeah, it's interesting because like you take a look at now.
Last right. Yeah.
Started again and everything. My brother has more gray hairs than I do, and he's 6 years younger. But I don't mind. I love like right here. It's not bad at all for me. Like I like the mixture of colors. So when the grays come in, I'm gonna embrace them. I'm not gonna be using like just none or anything. Yeah, I got you on that. Well, I didn't have a choice for my hair, so I ended up shaving it. But it's just interesting like how ahead of its time like Cable Guy was. And it's like it's kind of like a black sheep for Jim Carrey around that time because he was like on hot streak with all these movies and like people will try to tell you that the movie was a flop. It really wasn't. It actually made a profit.
Right.
But the thing about it is that in a time where he was coming out with like Ace Ventura and The Mask and Dumb and Dumber and Batman and Forever, it wasn't made as much because it's black comedy for one,
Yeah.
and Jim Carrey's the villain. And a lot of people,
Just can't be
you know, weren't used to that. I mean, granted, he was the real one, but the thing about it is like that was existing IP. That was Batman.
It's not-
You know, whether or not Jim Carrey was in Batman Forever would have been irrelevant. It still would have been a ton of money. But an original story that Jim Carrey was the, you know, the villain and everything, and you know, it's just like you take a look at it, and it's like there are people that will be surprised that like Ben Stiller directed that. Like that was his second movie that he directed because he directed
Yeah.
Reality Bites, which is also a really great '90s movie. And then he ended up following it up a couple years later with Cable Guy, but like it's so ahead of its time. Like
Yeah.
not only just in like gaming, but like
Mystery too.
Ben Stiller was in it. He didn't direct
He
it.
was in it, not directed.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah. Good movie. Also very ahead of its time too. But most movies were not as well liked, but nowadays
They're
they're
like,
like really cult classics, you know? But yeah, it's interesting like how gaming has like evolved and everything like that.
yeah.
I would say like favorites of mine, I'll always have a soft spot for Mario 3, Super Mario World, um, and then also, you know, Sonic 2 will always be a big favorite of mine. Um, and then you're looking for Genesis, or the first two Earthworm Jim games. Yeah. And then, of course, the people that made Earthworm Jim did Boogerman, and that was a big favorite of ours as kids as well. I don't know if you guys are aware of Boogerman.
Oh,
So,
you did. Well, yeah.
yeah, Boogerman is very funny. Like you're a superhero that, you know, can flip boogers, burp, suck loogies, fart, that kind of thing.
That night.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. And like,
Looks like it was Ren and Stimpy.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. But and yeah, I was always a big Nickelodeon fan as well, and
Yeah.
like Agro Monsters was a big favorite of mine.
$1.
Yeah, very big favorite game of mine. I was a big Lakers Mountain Life fan, and the game that they have, Spunky's Dangerous Day, it's a cool game. I'm not a big fan of like escort mission games.
Hmm.
Like, if I would say the one thing I didn't like in Earthworm Jim is the escort levels. Yeah, like
Just because they never move at a real human speed.
yeah, and you gotta. There's a lot of puzzle solving that's involved in that.
Puzzle solving.
Mhm.
But I want it to be on my terms.
Yeah,
You know, like you ever played
I never played it, but I know how it's a little bit.
Yeah, good game.
Yeah.
I played it until my 8-year-old son, who's 9 now. Oh, Portal, I want to play that. I've heard about it. I'm still waiting for that.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to play it. Yeah. Did you play it? Yeah, I played it with my son. Yeah, that's great. It was awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'd say in the past like few years, like there have been quite a few games that will always be on my radar as like my favorites. I'll always I like Dead Space, particularly Dead Space 2 is always my favorite. The BioShock series, it's funny because I have the whole trilogy and I still have not played Infinite. I have never played it.
either.
No, and
I played one.
I need to get it. I mean, I need to play it because I haven't.
Yeah.
Um, and then, you know, there's another game I really like called Brood of Legend. I don't know if you guys ever played that. It's a black, really fun game. Yeah, very, very fun game.
Just jump.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, if anyone was gonna do a Minecraft,
Yeah, you're right.
it makes total sense. I mean, it's like, it's so funny. Like, there'll be people that'll be like fans of like Napoleon Dynamite and then hate Minecraft, and it's like same guy,
Yeah.
same kind of humor. Like,
The only difference is that his kid was like, "Dad, make a Minecraft for me." He was like, "All right."
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you got like these adaptations of like games.
Yeah.
And like people give them negative reviews and be like, well, are you a fan of the IP? No, okay, well then shut up.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, I've been loving like how some games have been getting good like adaptations, like Fallout.
Yeah.
You know, and I like the Mario movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the series is great. I didn't finish. Yeah, it's not good. I
Yeah.
watched season 2
Season 2 is good.
But even my wife is like, she's not a huge gamer. She plays props and but
Even it's a story. Even games these days with stories.
Yeah.
it's The Last of Us. I didn't even watch that.
I
It's so bad.
never watched it, and I also never played it because I don't have a PS3 or 4 or 5.
Yeah.
My love of PlayStation kind of went away with PS2, but I know that they have better exclusives than
Yeah.
their stuff does.
It's funny that you say I love
Yeah.
PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 because, yeah, man, PlayStation 3 was terrible.
Yeah.
They were like the first. That was the first console that basically invented waiting 45 minutes to download your game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's like, yeah, 360 was just
Right.
like, yeah, put the disc in and play the game.
There's very few games that are like that draw me to PS3. I mostly just want a PS3 for a backwards compatible PS3 so I can play my PS1 and 2 games.
Yeah, that makes
My
sense.
HD television.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I would not want to do with PS3.
Yeah. Would you guys say that there is a game coming out in the future that you guys are pretty excited for?
I don't want to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Is it what you think you're thinking?
Yeah, the link is right over that.
Mhm.
Sorry, excuse me.
No, you're fine. We swear on the podcast.
So I'll go with my second one then. Wolverine.
Yeah. It looks good.
I'm excited to play that. In fact,
They have good new ones.
they have some like PlayStation money
Oh
to use.
There you go.
It's a long story, and I've never bought a digital game before, like on the PlayStation
Yeah.
Network.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Arc Raiders because
Oh right.
they forced me to do that. It's on free will. We played it twice, so we played it twice. And then a friend of ours, Andy, came into the store and he pulled out a gift card and started taking a photograph of it. And Todd goes, Andy, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And he was like, wow. Yeah, you both did. We were like, send me that. Like, and he's like, oh, my girlfriend asked me to send her a gift card. Gift card for Razor Network? Razor Buildings? And we talked to him, we were like, hey, listen, man, I don't think this girl's for you. Like, this is, like, your girlfriend's done, like, how long have you known her? Like, we had some conversation. And he was like, you know, he's like, oh, I'm really upset and this and that. He's a little, autistic.
Not office, yeah.
Yeah. So like he has a hard time with certain things like that. Yeah, he just wants to be loved,
Yeah.
The balls online. They it's their advantage. Yeah, that was the first time it happened. It happened again when like Andy was like,
Man, yeah.
yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
Story aside, he doesn't have a ton of money. So I was like, hey, why don't we'll buy that? So we bought the gift card from Game Cage, Game Cat. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you need your money. 'Cause he's always coming in here to trade in things. Oh, I need money for a comp. I need money.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're like, hey, like you gotta,
Yeah.
you gotta save your money.
Yeah, don't you want to game or
Right. Yeah. And like, you try to create an Xbox Series. It has Series X. And he's like, this is my favorite thing, but I need to send money to. We're like, Andy, we're not gonna
buy this.
we're not gonna buy this from you. But what we'll do is I'll hold onto it and give you $150 for it. Whenever you have the $150, just give it back to us. It's kind of like just
trying to help him.
Just trying to help him out. Yeah. But with a consequence, because I keep, yeah. Anyway, so bought the thing from him, and I was like, "What?" So I go on, what can I do with this thing? And I got this $40, and I was like, I can buy PlayStation coins or whatever.
Yeah.
So I have 40. No, I have $50 because 40 wasn't enough. You can only buy like a $25 and $50 anything. So I had to then spend all my money to get the $50. So I think I'm going to use that to buy one of the other games, maybe another one that people have talked about before.
Yeah, exactly.
Anticipated game.
Yes.
Highly anticipated game.
Yeah.
Very much now.
I'm very like I'm excited, but at the same time, like it's just like it's been a long ass time. It has been. Like it really has been.
18 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been
The game's officially legal, so like They can even packs anymore,
But
guys.
I still remember, and I miss this too. I miss midnight release parties at GameStop.
Yeah, yeah.
I miss that so much.
I remember going for the Halo and Richmond release, 12 o'clock at night. Got the game, went back to my best friend's apartment or not apartment, garage, and we just played it till like 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like four of
yeah,
us. We waited in line.
yep.
Yeah, and it was
I
fun.
still remember my experience waiting to get it. And I just remember I was so exciting. And like, it's like now, like, it's just so different because like, enough times passed. Like, I'm hoping like it's great. And I mean, I have no qualms that it's not going to be good. It's like, you set the bar with the previous one and it's like mind blowing and everything like that. Really, really good. And it's just like, now I'm like, I'm optimistic. My whole thing about it is that, it's just like the way that they're going about it, which, we'll now talk about. Um, because I told you guys I was going to bring this up because,
Yeah.
retro gaming is very much based on physical media, which is dying, unfortunately. Um, and I'm sure you guys have like a clear viewpoint on the whole thing about, Sony announced that they're just going to be going digital
Yeah.
starting in 2028. Like, I mean, yeah, you guys definitely have a viewpoint on that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the first thing that Tyler and I discussed was that another plug for the stores, and we will be selling all digital consoles at a discount.
Mhm.
If anybody wants to come buy them and then never come back to the store,
Right.
that's fine with us.
Yeah.
We're just I'm not going to support it.
Mhm.
We just, yeah.
I think we both feel that way.
It's a slap on the face.
We had people call and ask for trade-ins. And we're like, is it digital or it is a PS5? They're like, it's digital. And we don't take digital.
Hate to say it, but sometimes
It's fine to take it because it just perpetuates. There's another person adding into selling something that we don't agree with
Mhm.
in any way.
Yeah.
And how can we morally if this is our,
Yeah, this
Yeah.
just means someone's like,
Exactly.
our position we can't. Like,
Yeah.
we're just lying to ourselves and
yeah,
anyone else.
yeah. This endeavor is about making money.
Right.
So we have to make money
Mhm.
to survive. But at the same time, I'm not going to compromise my morals
Our
or
values,
values
yeah.
either.
Yeah.
I think that digital media, there's a place for 100%.
Right.
Mhm.
I think that it's great to be able to have the convenience of, downloading something immediate.
That's the convenience. Yeah, that's how they try to justify it.
Yeah.
And going back to the midnight releases, that's one of the ideas they have. Well, you don't have to do that. Or it's like we all want.
Yeah, like you want to.
We're dying to go out. And
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Past 9 p.m. Until 41 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, give me a dumb reason to go stand in line.
I mean, I'm 4 months away from 40, so I mean, it's just like I feel like and I feel like it's an extra slap in the face, but like, oh, we're gonna have physical boxes, but it's just coded. Like,
so what is the point of what's the release that
exactly.
medicine?
Yeah.
It's not.
There's no point. I always thought that digital, sell something digital and physical,
Yeah.
have the physical version cost more than
Right.
digital.
Sell the digital.
I'm absolutely fine paying the extra money to have it physical.
I think that's really what it's about.
Yeah.
Right.
And I also think that here's the thing, and I feel like the reason why different companies are doing it is not because of convenience. It's probably because of the fact that they're trying to cut out the middleman, and it's like we don't want people to sell this to a game store and we get none of the money.
Yeah.
Which I think is so crappy to think
Yeah.
about. It's like, yeah, but you just sold it to the person and you made profit off of it. Why in the world are you going to be upset if later on down the line they don't need it anymore? I mean, they sell it to, I'm not even caring about GameStop because they're a corporation. They're fine. Yeah, they're getting a lot of and stuff like that. Yeah, they're gonna make a lot more money than like an independent shop, like that kind of thing. And it's like there's no harm to these big companies if somebody resells a game. It's like if you're selling a game to somebody, if I buy a game from Sony or Microsoft, they already got my money. They don't need to worry about me giving it to somebody. They don't need that extra money.
I haven't.
And
It's not about.
Mhm,
It is really on amplifying.
mhm,
I don't think it's about cutting out.
mhm,
What I think is it's about them redirecting what their efforts,
mhm.
and that's
Oh yeah, that probably is a big
they're
chunk of it too.
taking. I mean, they already shut down those physical warehouses for the private
Plants, yeah.
making stuff,
Mhm.
and they're going to convert those into chip making manufacturing. So,
Yeah, I get that.
so that they can supply data centers with AI.
Mhm,
It cuts down on their costs.
mhm.
So more money, great. And, if you got a board of people that only care about how much money that they have,
Yeah, they only care about
and
online.
somebody goes, "Hey, listen, if we stop making physical games, we can move all of this
And that's
expenditure to."
it's a publicly traded company. Like
Yeah,
they have shareholders they need to appease. That's what GTA Online has been around for so long.
yeah.
They found the real life cheat code, glitch to
Mhm.
for infinite money for cards or whatever.
And I will say, I never bought shark cards ever.
No, you never play.
And it's like the thing about it is that you don't necessarily need them to get ahead. It's cosmetics.
You have to grind.
You can need to like read the stuff that you know and stuff like that. But the good thing about the one thing I will say about GTA Online is that GTA Online was still playable
Yeah,
without stuff. You know?
I mean it's a while ago. Like when I played it when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I can keep regularly trying to log on to the servers day one on my PS3,
Mm-hmm.
and servers were crashed because they were
Yes.
sharing the same servers as Red Dead Redemption.
Yes.
So
I remember that.
that's how far back. I put much yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and when you can give money to other players.
Yeah.
But there came a point when they put the fucking flying DeLoreans in there,
Yes.
and you could just buy a hydrojet and
Yep.
fly around the map briefing everybody. That
Yes.
like it just didn't become fun anymore, and it's like
I get that.
this is like a pay to win like
Oh,
game now. Yeah,
That's also why I think like the main story, like not needing any of that in the last game is
yeah.
great. And I'm hoping that with this next one, that's not the case. I mean, and I'm actually
There's
kind
about
Yeah,
yeah.
even the order, right? It's like you can unlock this whole store,
Mhm.
this whole mechanic shop that's like not accessible to other players if they get the base games.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. My
Mind blowing.
one thing that kind of changed things for me is that I've always liked the WWE games, and this year 2K decided to uh, do a battle pass kind of thing with unlockables and stuff like that, which is very frustrating. It's like this is the last time I'll buy a WWE game because it's like
Yeah.
if I'm spending a certain amount of money, this stuff should be available for me from the jump.
Play to unlock.
Yes,
Aid.
yes, exactly. Yeah, and it's just like
why not game?
exactly. And I think that's also kind of what makes me appreciate retro gaming more is because like when you paid for a game, you get the whole game,
Right.
you know? It's like, I'm sure. Yeah, exactly.
Something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, where's Flitch? I can do this thing and figure out something. It's like an accidental aspect of the game.
Right.
That's like, oh, how cool if I go and stand in this one spot? You can hide something in the air and go outside the map.
Yeah.
you know, and you like that's it's gamification,
Yeah.
like and instead it's like now, here's the patch for it.
Right.
I don't want that, give that.
Yeah.
But if you just let it live, then people would discover ways to defeat
Mhm.
the thing that centers the patch or
Yeah.
all those kind of things. Um, yeah, but like I mean, I just gets back to the physical media. That's Um, I just think that it's between what you were saying about the money, uh, and I think what they're going to do with those resources that they might have. They don't really care. They don't care about us. They don't. You know what I mean? Like the studios that make the games might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The publisher, the people that make the rules.
The actual money they.
Yeah, they've got all the money. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
We talked about it earlier with, you know, them becoming so monopolistic.
Yeah.
That like, a country's nation's government has to step in at this point.
And Mexico's
And it's not even going to be America.
Yeah.
It's still-
No. Yeah, I totally get you on that.
Like,
Yeah.
Mexico is filing an injunction
That's great.
Yeah.
to be like, no, you can't,
Mhm.
you can't charge somebody for something when they don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like about how a lot of the people would try to, because Nintendo's policies are still a bit rough at times, and it's like you take a look at it, it's like that's always been how Nintendo's been, and like they've
Yeah.
always been in the middle of litigation with
They
these things,
sue everybody.
and they sue everybody as well. And it's like kind of like unfortunate. Like you take a look at like back in the NES days, there were um publishers that did like off-brand, like separate entities in order to publish more games for the NES, because NES would be like, oh, you're only
Yeah.
able to like what was it? Namco had Tengen, and Konami had Upper Games, that kind of thing. And it's just like you guys have to play ball with us. Like, if you notice the Electronic Arts cartridges for the Genesis, they were designed a certain way.
Yeah.
That way they can bypass the locking chip pretty much. And it's always interesting like how things like that, work out. So do you guys think that the future of like current gaming will bring more eyes to retro gaming?
I don't know. I don't know if I can fully understand like what it was.
Like frustrations with like how gaming is now, like microtransactions and not complete games, and like in an age of like what's maximizing profits, do you guys think it'll bring eyes closer to retro gaming?
I think I think that it will be split. I think that there will be a faction of people who stand up for what they believe in, and that they will stop doing those things and will find other things to do in their lives, like buy more books that they can own and read whenever they want, or um, if you don't want to repeat, go into more retro stuff so that you don't need to download the game. And um, it's interesting. I also think that there's going to be that other half, and you see the debates online. They're like, whatever, the future's digital. And that's because that's how they grew up.
Right.
Mhm.
But they don't understand owners.
That's all
Yes.
generation maybe two of raised with no touch co-op, only online gaming.
Mhm.
Also, these kids went through COVID. Like they had online Zoom school. You know what I mean? That is their life.
Yeah.
They don't know skis or. We had a kid the other day he was he had a Super Nintendo encounter, and no shame to him or anything, but he just didn't.
Yeah, no.
VHS was a game, and
Yeah.
but it is just right.
Yes, of
Like,
course.
don't know the difference.
Yeah.
It's,
Like people don't even know why people had a 60-foot, telephone pole.
right.
Yeah.
So that I could go talk to my girlfriend. It was the only phone we had.
Or cute box TVs when everything's a flat screen.
Yeah.
Fine, like that's fine, but I think that um, the things not being physical, and I think that maybe when that changes for that group of people, when they go, oh, wait a second, this isn't cool, it'll be A, too late,
Yeah.
and B, that's when they'll feel it. When they actually take something that they loved away. When PlayStation goes, oh, well, that game's 8 years old now, and we lost the copyright for it. Yeah, so we have to take it off the PlayStation network. And that game that they as a teenager marked at Ben and Jerry's really hard for 'em.
Mhm.
right? I'll let whatever $15 an hour buy a $90 game, whatever it might be, is now gone. They want to play it again and they can't.
Yeah.
That's when it'll end up. You know what I mean? But that hasn't really happened for the majority of those people. I've seen it happen with
Right.
Xbox 360,
Mhm.
you know, where someone took a bunch of stuff on it, and now it's happening with movies and stuff that you may have purchased on the PlayStation.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Those are now you just don't own it.
Yes.
Wait a second, that was my money that I used to purchase that.
Right.
That.
Mhm.
You can't buy it anymore. It's you bought it and you can't even download it.
Exactly. Yes.
It's just gone.
I think at this point, like with any game that I have, like on a Switch or anything like that, or on my Xboxes that was digital, I'm never getting rid of it because then I won't be able to redownload it, which is definitely unfortunate. And I honestly feel like that this whole thing is going to just increase like emulation and piracy. I feel like I mean like my whole
Yeah.
thing is that
For sure.
I do want to get like with physical games, there are certain things like for my Xbox 360, you know, I there are games that I will want because I like the whole idea of like for my wrestling games. I like the fact that I can rip CDs to it and I can have that music be entrance music for my wrestlers, that kind of thing. And then also like with a Connect, peripherals, certain peripherals that emulation cannot copy.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, it's cool that I have virtual cop on my emulation console.
Yeah.
I want to have a CRT TV. That way I can get the virtual gun for my Saturn, and I have the physical Saturn
Yeah.
because the movement is a lot better for that
Yeah.
rather than using control. Because the controller, like, it's a lot slower,
Yeah.
and you have to move around a certain way. Like, that is why, like, with certain games like Switch, when they did the House of the Dead remakes, you can actually use
Like,
your Joy-Cons. Yeah, that's what I like.
it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that whole thing. Like, I mean, it's like if they ended up coming out with Time Crisis or anything like that for Switch, I'm gonna look into that to actually see if they got any Time Crisis games for Switch because believe me, oh my God, so fun.
Yeah.
And it's just like it makes you miss things like that. Like even with if Switch wanted to release any of the old Genesis or Nintendo or Super Nintendo games with special peripherals like Super Nintendo, let's release the Super Scope games on Switch.
Yeah.
Or let's release any of the games that needed the Sega Master on Switch.
Mhm.
Or you got the NES collection, release Duck Hunt.
Right.
And you can use the Joy-Cons as like the rifle, that kind of thing,
Right.
you know? And it's just like,
Or at least sell it on the Switch on Prime, you know.
yeah,
Wireless format.
yeah. I definitely think like that would be good for like, you know, if you want to get eyes on like old gaming or retro gaming, that's a cool way to do it.
Right.
So before we end the episode, this is the opportunity for you guys to plug the shop and plug what you guys do here.
Yeah. Yeah, we're never prepared for work. We're Pixel.
Yeah.
We're at 71 Federal Street in Pittsfield, and we have a store that what you say? It's retro games, it's
Retro movies,
yeah,
collectibles, things that we like.
accessories,
Expendables
Mhm.
from Atari to PlayStation 5, everything in between.
Yeah.
I will say, if you mention the podcast, we'll give you 10% off.
Oh wow, perfect.
Your work, and also we're doing a trade bonus for N64 games right now. Like I get 20%. So basically, our cash becomes the same store credit.
Cool.
Also,
Awesome.
you mentioned this podcast.
yes,
All right, I'll make sure I let people know that, and then also
time.
I'll post that as well for the 24th. And also you guys do your repair stuff too.
yes. Thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah.
We do repairs. Nathan has his own IT company. I have my own hardware repair company. We pretty much handle it all. Broken phone screens, computers,
Software issue.
yeah, all kinds of software issues, the virus removal,
Yeah,
Speak on that.
networking, we kind of, if it touches the network, we deal with it. So yeah, come in, get your stuff.
Yeah, this is for our normal jobs for
Before we were like,
joint forces or like
let's take our collection and just.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it. And yeah, not a problem. If we end up doing anything that's video game related, I'll definitely get a hold of you guys to see if you guys want to do that. Because I mean, me and Chris, we always have stuff to talk about with like games, and like I mean, we ended up doing I think our second episode was our favorite N64 games. But yeah, we'll definitely be talking to you guys in the future. But yeah, guys, check out Pixelball here on Federal Street in Pittsfield. It's right across, if you turn on Federal Street, right across from Burger King. So feel free to come check them out. And then July 24th, the Smash tournament. So I'm going to try to make sure I actually have Sunday dedicated to editing this and post it before Friday. So that way, we'll be doing that. So just a couple news things, guys, if for those of you that listen. We're going to have some new features in future episodes of the podcast. We're going to be talking about featured foods, featured movies, featured TV shows, that kind of thing, featured games, to add a little extra level of nostalgia to everybody. But yeah, feel free to check us out, YouTube, the Nostalgia Nuts Podcast, Facebook, go on Twitter. We're not going to call it X anymore, just Twitter. That damn freaking logo that's no longer the damn bird.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put the bird at from now on. Nostalgia Nuts 90. Yeah. Um, and then also, yeah, our next episode, we're in the middle of baseball season. We just finished up All-Star break. So Chris and I are going to have my brother Billy co-host with us, and we are going to be talking about one of our favorite 90s baseball movies, and that would be Angels in the Outfield. So yeah, feel free to check us out, and we will see you guys next episode on the Nostalgia Nuts podcast.